Yes, so role-based security, we have understood how the roles are, basically what the roles are all about. We have understood, how a user is being assigned certain roles called abstract roles as well as job roles, understood the difference between abstract role and job role. And now certain seeded roles we have seen with respect to the applications that we will be training on. So we have, expense just as an example we have mentioned here. But what we will be training on is general ledger, accounts payable, accounts receivable, fixed assets, and cash management. So those roles are here. Okay. So these are then application implementation consultant. We understood that we need it for our setup and maintenance activities or setup and maintenance configurations that we do. Basically, for that we need the application implementation consultant. Also, again, from a job role perspective, how a job role is defined, or what is the architecture of a job role. That also we yesterday understood. So, job is nothing but basically, it indicates a particular job a person has to carry out, right? And under that particularly, there are certain, as part of that job, he or she has to conduct certain duties or discharge certain duties, right? So as we had understood the example of accounts payable, accountant or manager, so they have the duty of performing or processing the invoices, processing the payments, running the analyzing and reviewing reports to check certain details, or month end activities, period close activities. These things are basically part of the duties that they need to perform. Now under that duties, they actually have certain privileges, okay, that they can do in from an ERP perspective specifically. Okay, like creation of creation action, okay, that they can do, creation of the invoice. Similarly, deletion of an invoice, or what do you say, update of an invoice, editing of an invoice, right? Similarly, what else we can say, creation of a payment, voiding of a payment, stopping of payment. So these are kind of privileges in ERP that would be granted for the duties to be carried out. Okay, not all people will be given all privileges. Some will be given view only rights, some will be given the edit rights, some will be given the creation rights. Okay, so like that, all those things are basically managed by the privileges that are available within these job roles. So you can say set of privileges or a group of privileges, they form a duty role, and such multiple duty roles, they form a job role. Okay, so that is the architecture. Now, over and above that, there is something called a data role as well. So we had understood, right? So there is something. So there is a third question that needs to be answered from a security perspective. And what is that? It is the which question of which data. Okay, which data needs to be given access to. Okay, so that is where there is something called a data role also in place. About over and above that, there is one more aspect which we will understand later. So that data role is again something, it gives access to a certain dimension of a data. So just as an example, uh, you know, ledger, let's say, let's understand the aspect of ledger. Okay, so ledger is what? Ledger is a set of books, right? Wherein we record all the accounting information or accounting journals basically. And then ultimately the balances are, available, okay, or recorded, you can say. Now that ledger access, okay, should be given only to the people who are working in the, first of all, general accounting department. Okay, and again, people who are supposed to work, or who are supposed to generate information, or generate what do you say, generate reports, MIS, okay, management information system reports, and multiple such reporting activities. For that, the ledger is given. Now ledger can be multiple ledgers, right? Within a particular group of companies, you can say, there can be multiple ledgers available depending upon the different companies that are under the group umbrella. Okay, now not all have to be given all the ledger accesses. Okay, so only the concerned people will be given, even in general accounting also. Okay, only the concerned company people will be given the respective ledger accesses. Okay, so that they can only access the data pertaining to their ledger. Okay, not anything about that. Okay, and at the group CEO CFO level, probably they will have access to all the ledger, all the books. Okay, so that is where the data role, okay, make sure that only that dimension of data which is required, okay, by the respective people, okay, and the respective roles, that they will be assigned, okay, not to all. So that was just one example. So we will understand much more in detail what are the different objects of a data role, or how the how basically that kind of segregation for data security is managed. We will understand it later, because there are a few more concepts that that needs to be understood around that. Okay. So this was all about how we can, how the Oracle application functions are there, then the application data is there, and all of them are brought together in assigned. There are duty roles, then there are certain abstract roles, and then all of them are role provision to the users. Okay, so now let us have a look into ERP to see how the user creation and user ID, password creation, similarly role assignment activities can be done. So first of all, the user who is an IT security administrator, okay, will have the role called IT security manager assigned to his ID, so that he can create other user IDs, other manage the passwords, similarly, be able to assign the required roles to the respective people. So for that, what is the role name that is assigned to the user? It is called IT security manager. Okay, with the assignment or provisioning of IT security manager, he or she gets access to something called a security console. Okay, so first of all, I will show you the screen. I will go to Navigator. Okay, and in Navigator there is something called Tools, and under Tools there is this Security Console. Now, this Security Console will be available only if the person has been assigned the role, or the user has been assigned the role called IT Security Manager. Now, this is the Security Console page, where there are sections related to multiple sections are there: roles, users, analytics. So analytics means basically from a security administration perspective, they have to analyze, or they have to generate reports periodically and analyze the activities and all. So that is where there is an analytics section. Okay, then there are certain other technical aspects called certificates. Like there are certificates that are being managed, right, even on our desktops and laptops that we have. Okay, there are certain kinds of certificates that are managed, okay, for certain accesses, and something of those sorts. So those, it is all related to that. Okay, with respect to Oracle ERP, there can be certain certificates and keys that can be managed, but then we need not be concerned about that. But that is because it is more technical, and from an IT security administration perspective, the people who are specifically doing it, they would be required to know more on those aspects. Okay, but for us to understanding these two things are more than enough. Okay, so now the user, how a user account can be added. So in this user section, there is this add user account icon available. So you click on add user account, and this is where you create, okay, you provide the details, so the associated person, so whether it is a worker or none, or it is just a blank user ID, so you associate that. Then the account information, whether it is active or log. Similarly, here we have this user information. Okay, user category. So this category is with respect to some HCM related, categorization for users that they do. So that is where this is there. So we can just, for our case, we can say default as the user category. Okay, then first name, last name, you will have to provide the email ID, username, password, Okay, and then confirm password. So these are some of the things that will have to be provided. And then once you provide all these things, you add the rule. Okay, so a specific role that is required. So first of all, you will add a role called employee role if at all that person is an employee. Okay, for that a user, right now what we are seeing here is we are just creating a user. Okay, just a user account. Okay, not necessarily this user account is an employee. Okay, so because the employee related configuration is something that is done in HCM, and then that employee record gets linked to the user account. That is how it happens. Right now, what we are seeing is we are just seeing a blank, or you can say a standalone user account that we are creating. But the employee records are not associated. Okay, until the time the HCM people they create an employee and they assign it. Okay, but then after the employee has been assigned, for the employee to carry out their employee related activities, the employee role also has to be assigned additionally. Okay, so I will show you a user account that is available. That is my user account. You can see. Okay, so I will search it here in the search parameter. By the username I am searching. Okay, so this is how it will look like, and then you open it. Here you see the details. Okay, now here the worker information. This is the employee information, basically associated worker information. So this has been attached once the employee had been created. Then I link my user account to this particular employee record, and that is why it is showing as associated worker information. Okay, then we have the roles. So all these are the roles that you can see that has been assigned to my user. Okay, accounts payable, invoice supervisor, payable manager, payable payment supervisor. These are for application transaction related accesses. Okay, now for setup and maintenance access, this is the role, application implementation consultant role. Okay, so you will be provided with all of these roles. Okay, so let me show you how a role is added. So let me edit this user account. So there is this add role icon available here, right? So you click on add role, and then here you search for a particular role. Okay, so let's say for example, so here you see these are all the roles that you can see. Some of them are custom, some of them are seeded. So if we say this is the role that we want, accounts payable, invoice supervisor, then you type the keyword, okay, and then you click on it from the list. And if at all it is not added, it will display something over here, and then you click on add role membership. So that gets assigned. Now this is nothing is coming up. Reason being, it is already assigned to my user account. Okay, so let me try to get some other role. Accounts receivable or accounts payable custom is there, right? So let's take that. So like this, the role will come up, okay, below, if at all it is not assigned. And then you can select and click on add role membership. So that gets assigned and it gets removed from here. And then you click on done. And below, if you go and search, you will be able to find it. Okay. So towards the end, you will see the new roles that are getting assigned. See here, this is the one that got assigned. Okay, so this is how basically the roles you will have to add all the required roles. So in your case, you will be given the roles. Then you save and close. Resetting of password is also something that you can do from here. Okay, so you search the user account, click on reset password, and you will be able to either manually update or automatically generate. So if your system automatically generates, then it will send the password to the email ID associated. Okay, so this is how the reset of password works. Now we will see some of the roles. So let me go to the role. So I mentioned that, right? The roles are all about, duty, privileges, and all. Okay, so auto provision is actually, there are certain roles which can be auto provision from a, new user account perspective. So like, automatically it can be assigned to all the users. A grouping is being done. So in such cases, whichever roles are to be auto provisioned, the checkbox would come up against that. Okay, so now roles, here you will see there are, multiple roles. As I mentioned, that each job role has certain duty roles and privileges under it, right? So let us search accounts payable accountant or accounts payable invoice supervisor as the role. Accounts payable invoice supervisor. Okay, now you see here, now show, what is it, the options are show roles. That means all the duty roles that are under this job role, or even some certain job roles can also be associated under another job role. Okay, so you see here, these are all the different duty roles and, sub job roles that are assigned here for multiple activities, like for item inquiry. Okay, from the payable transaction window. So that is what this particular duty role is. Now, what you would be able to relate is, like view purchase order. Okay, so from the accounts payable invoice, person who is performing the accounts payable invoice, okay, creation and all, they have to actually view sometimes or review sometimes the purchase orders, the underlying purchase orders. So that is where this view purchase order as a duty has been assigned or has been linked up with this accounts payable invoice supervisor role. Similarly, payable invoice inquiry role. So you have to even inquire the invoices, right? Later on, you might have to look up. So that is where payable invoice inquiry is a duty role that is available or within Oracle. So that has been associated under this accounts payable invoice supervisor role. Okay, so similarly, there are multiple, sub job roles or maybe duty roles that together are assigned to the job role. Okay, the main job. And then if you further expand it, so under the show, there is this drop down. If you click on privileges, okay, then it will expand to the privileges. So like you will see now, cancel payable invoice. This is one of the privilege. Okay, similarly, check funds or correct payable import or apply or unapply payables prepayment. So these are all actions, certain actions that you can perform, which is called as privileges. That comes up with all, duty roles and, certain additional job roles that have been assigned. Okay, so how to distinguish is basically, either you can look at the name or you will have to search it. So if at all, let me say cancel payable invoices. Okay, I, select that and I try to search it. Okay, and if it is a duty role, then it will appear. If I, let's say this, I click on all the search parameters, I will disable all search, and specifically I will click on duty role. Okay, and then you search it. Then if at all it comes up, then that means it is a duty role. It is created as a duty role. Okay, so basically there is an association that you provide with each of those aspects. Okay, so let me show you one case. Okay, payable invoice creation. So generally, the Oracle seeded one, okay, the duty roles and the privileges and all, which Oracle uh, uh, creates or Oracle has predefined. After that, in that naming convention, there is a code that is associated. So in that code, they mention it as duty. So that is the same practice that we need to follow as well. Okay, so whenever we are creating any custom, duty role or similarly custom job role, in such a case, we need to make sure that the name and the code displays that aspect. Okay, but if you look at this, if I go inside this particular duty role, let me go to this drop down and I click on edit role. I'm not editing actually, I'm just taking you to the screen inside. So that is where you will see a role category has been assigned. Okay, so this is what actually differentiates a particular, this thing from being a job role or a duty role or a privilege. Okay, so the category. So category, in role category, you will find duty roles and job roles that you can associate or you can categorize this thing as. Okay, privileges are altogether a separate aspect. So privileges you can never create. Okay, these privileges are something which are already predefined by Oracle and you actually just associate it under a duty role. Okay, the privileges, the predefined privileges. Okay, so one more thing for you to understand is never edit. Okay, never edit Oracle provided role. Okay, so all those roles which is Oracle provided, you will see a code called Aura. Okay, as a prefix. In the code, there is a name, there is a code and description. So in the code, you will see Aura as a prefix for all the Oracle Oracle defined duty roles or job roles. Okay, so never edit that particular role. Just either if you want to create a custom role or customize that particular duty role by deleting certain privileges or adding certain privileges. So in such a scenario, you can copy these duty roles, and then add it. So the copy option will come up here.
So in this case, the last option which we see in the searches are payable invoice creation custom. Is that a custom role that you created?
Which one?
So in this search result on the last
someone might have created this.
Okay, so that's a custom. Okay.
Yes, that's custom. So before that, you don't see Aura, right? So Aura is all for Oracle standard roles, duty roles or job roles.
So when we create a custom role, you're telling the duty role we can edit, but privileges we have to copy as is.
No, even if it is a duty role that you are, you want to add. Okay, so you want to customize, let's say.
Yeah.
Okay, so in such case, whatever is the Oracle duty role, you can copy it. Don't edit it directly. You can copy it, create your own custom duty role, and then edit the privileges under it.
Okay.
That's how we should do it, and then name it. Name the naming that you provide to the custom role, duty role or job role, whatever it is that you are customizing. That the name should contain the words called custom or something by which we can identify. Okay, this is a custom duty role or a custom job role that you are creating.
Another small thing. So when we're creating a custom role, we have the option to remove certain things, right? Like remove certain.
Yes. That is why that is the reason we are copying and customizing it, right?
Right. To remove certain accesses.
Yeah, certain privileges. So let's say, for example, junior accountant is there who is not supposed to post the journals, let's say. Right. Okay, so posting would be a privilege. So that privilege, we will remove it from the customized role that we are creating for a junior accountant. Okay, so that way we can work on it. All right. Yeah. So let me show you how to copy the duty role or a job role. So basically, let's say this is the seeded role. Okay, and then here it is. I will click on this drop down and there is this copy option available. Okay, so copy top role or copy top role and inherited role. So each duty role or a job role can inherit certain privileges from other roles as well. Okay, so if you want just that particular one duty role related privileges to be available, or inherited roles also you want. Inherited by how it is inherited, basically by adding some more duty roles under it, certain privileges get inherited from other duty roles and job roles. So generally, when we take this option, copy top and inherited roles both. Okay, and then we copy the role. So this is the page that will open up. Now this is a duty related, okay, and you can add some values, okay, some value against it as per your requirement. So generally businesses, they tend to have some prefix available for their, which indicate that this is for their respective business, that this role has been created. Okay, so that way if they will give the name, custom is the thing that will be added behind, okay, or as a prefix or a suffix, whatever the cases or the naming convention is to be followed. Then click on next. So this is where you will see the privileges. This is from where you can delete or add certain privileges depending upon what is the requirement. So let's say delete payable invoice is a privilege that is not required. Okay, so you select it and you click on delete. That way you delete the privileges, or even add if you want. Then you can click on add function security policy and you will have to search for the respective privilege name. So this privilege name, actually privilege is something which is actually created by Oracle for all the standard applications. Okay, a privilege is created by Oracle. So those are the things that we need to utilize. We cannot in the what do you say, for the standard applications, we cannot custom add a privilege. Okay, so that is where we need to follow this aspect, and then you click on next. So this is the data security policy. Okay, so this is data security policy is basically for accessing of certain type of data. A grant has to be provided. Okay, so let's say for example in this case you will see grant on trading community. This is trading community party. This is related to the supplier records and all. For the access of that, there is a certain data security policy that is assigned. Okay, and then the read, view, organize, read, write, or update things are given. So this is a little bit complicated. Not something which you will from day one you will be able to understand or become an expert on it. It takes time, it takes practice. Okay, so this concepts you will have to understand. I mean, at a higher level, definitely we will be understanding it. Data security policy, that is where I'm mentioning grant on payable invoice note. Let's say for example, payable invoice creation can manage payable invoice note for all invoice and approval notes. So related to note creation and management of the notes. So that is where read, update, delete, merge, manage payable invoice note. All these are the privilege that is assigned additionally for a data aspect or a data security. Similarly, from a ledger perspective, general ledger perspective, whether the ledger access is to be provided and read, write, modify, or view related accesses are to be provided or not, that would be managed for those respective roles. Okay, so that is how the data security policy would work. And then in turn, the respective access will be restricted or given to the user to whom this security is being assigned. Okay, and then this is where you will see the entire list of duty roles that would be available. So these are additional duty roles that are associated with this main duty role. Okay, so that is why you can see inherited by role name. So this is inherited by, these are the roles that are inherited by this particular custom role that we were creating. Okay, and then you click on next, and from here itself you can add the user as well. So a particular custom role you create and you want to directly associate a user from this screen, then in that case you can add a user from here. Okay, not to a duty role but a job role. If it is a job role, then you can assign the users, okay, directly. If it is a duty role, you cannot assign a duty role directly to the users, because duty roles are part of job roles, and job role is something that we finally assign to the user. Okay, and then you click on next and submit. Okay, so that is our customization of duty role you have seen. Similarly, a job role also you can do. So let me select a job role.
Can we have same name for two?
No, you cannot. Name you cannot. You have to make some changes. Name you can, but this one, the code you cannot duplicate.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so let's say this is the role that you want to job role, okay, that you want to copy. So if I click on copy role, I'll say copy top role and inherited roles. Okay, that is where you have this role being copied. Okay, and then the role name you can edit. Similarly, role code you can edit. Then you see here, this is the job. This is a job role. That is why the role category is assigned as financial job roles. Okay, and then you can edit. You want to delete any duty or privileges. Privilege you may not be directly able to delete it from the job role because it is associated to duty role. Okay, so duty you will be able to delete. So you click on next. So this is where you will find all the duty roles assigned to it, this particular job role. So if you want to delete some duty from here, then you can delete that depending upon the business requirement. So this particular customization of a role, to be frank, it requires a lot of efforts. Okay, it is not a simple thing see, from Artwell, people who have experience of Artwell, that is the previous traditional ERP for Oracle. It was quite easy there to maintain the responsibilities. But since the since Fusion, where there is a role based security that has been initiated, or role based security has been incorporated, so that particular thing is not that quite easy to customize. It takes a little bit of testing. It takes a little bit of time to get the exact output. So that is where you will see, when you in your implementations, you go at client base, they have a requirement. Take the requirement very carefully, and then test it out. A lot of testing, trial and error thing you will have to do when you customize a role to get the desired output. Okay. So that's how a job we have seen, a duty role also we have seen. Also we have seen how the privileges look at the system, and then in turn how these things are assigned to the to the user. Now, one thing to remember: every time you assign a job role to the user, okay, you need to run a certain specific program, okay, from the setup and maintenance, or from there is one more place which is called a schedule process, from where basically you can run all the programs. Okay, so from either from that place or from the setup and maintenance, you need to run a particular program that will actually refresh the access. Okay, since it is a new role that you have assigned, or even for that matter you delete a particular role, so you have to make sure that the system picks up the effect of that role getting deleted or new role getting assigned. So that is where a certain program has to be run, which is called retrieve LDAP, latest LDAP program. Okay, so I will show you both the places from where you can run it. So in the setup and maintenance,
One small thing over here. Sorry to
yeah,
interrupt. So you were mentioning that we can copy the duties and then edit it.
yes,
Can you show that also?
yeah, that is what we had seen earlier, right? So this is the job role which I took up second time. The earlier thing that I took was
That was yeah.
that was the duty role, from
Duty.
where I deleted that what do you say, cancel invoice or something, privilege was there,
Right.
from where I deleted, right? So that was actually a duty role,
Oh,
and then you assign that duty role to a new job role that you create.
got
Okay,
it.
because duty role we cannot directly assign to the user. What we can assign to the user is what we can link with the user record is the job role. Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. Even if you want to create a new role, you can create it from here, which will be a blank role. Okay, so this is the icon. So you create a blank role, and you can provide the name, the role code, the role category. So what is the role category? Whether it is a common duty role, or whether it is a common job role. Okay, depending upon what you are creating. Okay, now if it is related to financials that you are creating, then you need to tag financial duty role or financial job role. Okay, so for each module also there is a bifurcation. The category labels are available. So accordingly you can assign. Okay,
Sure.
financial duty role, financial job role. So just I hope you have understood the concept of it. The crux is the concept.
Right.
Okay, that means duty is actually created based on certain privileges, or multiple privileges. They are clubbed together to create a duty role, and then
Nice.
multiple duty roles, they are clubbed together to create a job role.
Job.
Yeah. So where can you assign the job? Basically, in let's say this is a job role that I am creating. Let me just mention it as I'm just mentioning XXX to just to categorize this as a custom test role, test job role. Let me say. Okay, it is the same thing that I will mention in the code also. So code needs to be a caps, and there shouldn't be any space in between the characters. Okay, and then let me say this is for financials that I'm creating job role. Okay, I will have to provide the description because any admin who looks at it should be able to understand what this job is exactly for. Okay, then I click on next. Okay, privileges I don't directly add. Okay, at the job level, you can add it though, but yes, I'm not adding it just to show you. Okay, data security policy you can assign. So I will say create data security policy. Let's say the policy is about giving access or ledger access. Let's say ledger access. Okay, and I will go to data resource. I will search for ledger. Okay, so here we have GL ledgers. Okay, so I will select that. Okay, and then there is this option available. Select by key. Key means a specific ledger only you want to restrict. Okay, then in that case, there is a ID associated to a ledger which you will have to provide. Okay, if it is a by instance set, then in that case, you will have to provide certain conditions here. So you will have to select access the ledger for table GL ledgers derived from the data access, which you will not understand this at this point of time, because I said, right, there are certain other aspects that you need to understand before you will be able to create the data security policy. Okay, so after you have a understanding on that, you will be able to understand this aspect, what this is talking about. Okay, then if it all data set is all value, that means all access of ledgers you want. Okay, then in that case you will select all values, all ledgers. Basically in this particular environment, whatever ledgers are created, all the access need to be provided to this particular role. Okay, then you will say all values, and then you will have to mention the actions or the additional privileges, like whether you want just the view accounting period to be provided, or you want the delete rights to be available, read only rights to be given, or update rights also to be given. So these are the things that you will have to additionally select. These are the additional privileges at the data security level that you will have to select. Okay, and then you will click on OK. So that is how you create a data security policy. Okay, and then you click on next, and under here you will add the duty roles. Okay, all the duty roles that you want to associate with this particular custom job role. So I will click on add, and let's say duty role is something that I want to add. So I will put the search criteria as duty role, and I will mention, let's say, invoice. So in your case, whatever duty role you must have defined, okay, a custom duty role, or if it is a seeded role, again you will have to search by the seeded role name. Okay, so let's say payable administration is the role duty that I want to associate. So I will select that, search that, select that, and click on add role membership. So that duty role gets assigned. Okay, then I click on next. Okay, and then if at all, because this is a job role, right, the category has been selected as a job role, therefore you can directly add the user from here. Okay, so let me say I want this role to be assigned to my user. So I will click on add user, and I will say Chris dot William. So this is the user to whom I want to assign this role. I'll select that after searching and click on add user to role. Okay, so user has been added. The next thing is click on next. and save and close. Now, since it is already assigned to user from the same page, right, from the role creation itself, that is where it will already be assigned directly. It has been assigned. You don't need to go now to user, search for user, and again add it. Okay, because from the role at the time of creation of the role itself, we have mentioned that which is the user to whom it needs to be assigned. Okay, and the next step is to run those particular programs. Okay, so from where can we run it? Either from the setup and maintenance. Okay, I'll go to setup and maintenance. And here you will see run user and role synchronization. Okay, this will be available in all the offerings, whether it is compensation management or financials or accounting hub or order management, procurement. In all these offerings, you will find this particular task available because this is a shared program. Okay, so this will be available. So you can click on this. It will open up a page where it will show you what is the name of the program. Retrieve latest LDAP changes. So basically what it does is any kind of change that you have done with respect to the roles, user and role grants, okay, it will refresh the database, okay, such that the roles and everything or the accesses, it gets refreshed for the applications and functions. Okay, so this is the program name that you need to be aware of. Retrieve LDAP latest changes and you click on submit. Okay, so this is a place from where you can directly, if setup and maintenance is the place, from where you just click on this task called run user and role synchronization, and it will directly take you to this particular program. Retrieve latest LDAP changes and you submit it. But there, I told you, right, there is another way also from where you can submit this particular program. So from where can you do it? So in the navigator, you go to tools. In the tools, there is something called scheduled process. Okay, now scheduled process, I mean, this is something that you will see more frequently during our training program. Okay, so because this is the place generally you run all kinds of program, as in you want to run a particular, a report, or you want to run a particular process. Okay, so for all kind of programs, kind of thing, you want to run, you generally run from the schedule process. This is the place. So let us see that particular program of refreshing the role. So what was the name of it? Retrieve LDAP, right? So that we can run it from here. So I will click on schedule new process. I will enter the name, or I can enter the keywords. If I don't remember the full name, the keywords, what I remember, I can enter it. So I will say retrieve, RATRIEVE, percentage LDAP. That was the keywords I remember. Okay, and then I click on tab, the tab button on our keyboard. I'll click on that, and whatever programs it can find with that particular keyword as the keyword in that particular, in the program name, it will fetch up. If there are multiple options, then it will fetch up multiple list, and from that you can select. Right now, there is only one program with these keywords available. So that is where it has picked up that particular program. Retrieve latest LDAP changes. And then you click on OK. Okay, so now this has come up, and then you click on submit. So that will run the refresh program. So you see here, then there is this page refresh icon available. You click on that page refresh, and you will see this program line coming up. Okay, and what is the status against it? It is blocked. Okay, why it is blocked? Because there might already be this particular program which would be running somewhere. Okay, in this particular instance, someone else might have ran it. Okay, that is why it is showing the status as blocked. Okay, if it is completed successfully, it will show the status as succeeded. Just like this particular program you see, against that there is this succeeded status, right? So that way it will show you the succeeded status. Once the status of retrieve LDAP changes is successful, then for that particular user, you will be able to see the application, the respective application that you have assigned, and the custom functions you will be able to see under that particular user's login. Okay, so that is how this security administration works. Okay, or these are some of the things or some of the aspects that you can see understand from a security administration, and you can do it in the system. Data security policy, there are a few more things for you to understand, which we will understand while we cover a certain topic called enterprise structure okay, which actually is all about the organization structure that we configure it in Oracle. Similar to the business organization, okay, whatever business organization structure we have in real life business, right? The same things we have to actually configure it in Oracle, because that becomes the backbone of the structurization, and these actually act as some of the data security components as well. Okay, so that is where that particular structure, whatever business structure is there, that has to be created within Oracle, and it is called as an enterprise structure. Okay, just one
Uh,
more.
one small question, sorry to
Yes,
interrupt. So, like adding the role directly from here is not enough, right? I mean, we need to add the data access set, etc. also, right?
yes, that is also there.
Okay.
Additionally, we will have to add certain data access as well.
So if we don't, then will it take something default or just it will not show
No,
anything?
there it will not show anything. I mean,
Okay.
basically, you don't have any access. So let's say, for example, ledger. If
Right.
I haven't provided the access of ledger, a specific ledger, to that particular role and user, then in that case, when we go to the application, general ledger application, you will not be able to see the ledger itself. Okay,
Okay.
so if you don't see the ledger, that means you don't have access to any data associated under it, right? So that is how
Okay.
the security works.
Okay.
So just by creation of a role and assigning it to a user, you don't get the access. So that is where we have a third layer called the data access layer.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Just one moment. Does anyone else have any other question? See, this is a little confusing. I know security administration, but this is crucial to understand, because being consultants who are going to implement the business, the business ERP systems or Oracle ERP that licenses whichever they have procured, it is key for us to know the security concept, without which all other things would be incomplete. Okay, all other knowledge would be incomplete. So that
Can
is
we
the
create
basic.
a new role category?
No, you cannot create a new role category. That is all the predefined, system defined categories which are available. Okay. So security administration, actually, it is not confined to these things. There are a lot many other aspects, but for us to know these are the basic things which are required. Okay, so the role creation, similarly, role assignment to the user, and then in turn the programs that we need to run to refresh the accesses, and then ultimately there is one more leg that we will discuss as and when we complete the training. As and when we do the configurations. After that, we will see the assignment of the data access. So let me just at least will take you through that concept in the PPT though. Okay, so you will see here some of the data access components with respect to each of the application. Okay, what are those? With respect to general ledger application, there is something called the data access is actually governed by data access set. Okay, that is the object, data security object. Okay, that has to be configured and assigned along with the roles to the user. Okay, then similarly, segment value is an additional security which we will understand when we have a look at the application configuration. At that point of time, we will understand this as a topic. For payables, it is something called business unit. Okay, so business unit is again part of the enterprise structure. So you will understand what business unit is when we discuss on that topic. But yes, in payables, it is by business unit that the data access to the invoice, to the payments and everything is, security is governed. Okay, data security is governed. Then receivables. For receivables, again, it is by business unit and reference data sets. So these are, you will understand whenever we complete or whenever we go to those application trainings, you will understand what these are all about. Then for payments and cash management, the accesses are controlled based on legal entity. So legal entity is again just like business unit. Legal entity is again a part of enterprise structure. Okay, so in assets, in asset module, the data security is controlled by asset book. So that is the reason I mentioned, as and when we go to the respective module training, at that point of time, we will understand what is the data access components or what is the data security components that governs the access to data in the application, over and above the application access that has been granted to the user through the job roles. Okay. Now, for you to understand further, there is something called Oracle Financial Security Reference Guide. See, whenever we sit to create a custom duty role or a custom job role, we won't be able to know, or I mean, we are not that we don't have an AI brain that can remember all the small privileges names, or the small duty role names. The minutest detail of it we cannot know. That is the reason Oracle has given a guide, okay, a reference guide, which actually details all the Oracle seeded privileges and seeded roles. So whenever you sit to create a custom role, you can take the help of this reference guide to find out what are the respective privileges and duty role names that you want, and in turn that you want to use for your custom role, and in turn will give the specific privileges and accesses to the user to whom you are going to finally assign those roles. Okay, so for that you can check this particular security reference guide. Even we, whenever we sit and during our implementations, when we want to create a custom role, okay, we actually take the help of this document. Okay, so that is where you can also in your testings also, or in your future practices, you can definitely take the help of this particular guide. Okay, so how can you find it? So simply you can go to Google and search this. Okay, so let me show you. Oracle Financials Cloud Security Reference Guide. Okay, and what is the link that you need to go to? The link that mentions as docs.oracle.com SaaS. Okay, SaaS means software as a service. So for software as a service, which is actually part of what? The Fusion Cloud services. Okay, so for that you will have to go to, or that link you need to visit. Okay, security reference for financials, and in here you will see for the roles, different roles, what are the seeded roles available. Okay, what is the role hierarchy? Okay, it will mention you then what are the duties under it. So it will give you actually the name of the duty roles. Then what are the privileges? Okay, so it will give you the names of the seeded privileges. Okay, so here you have the name of the privileges. Supplier work area overview, like that. Search supplier is again a privilege. Okay, then data security policy related aspect also it will mention. So whatever is there in this under this particular Oracle defined predefined rule. Okay, so these are some of the this is one of the document that you can take a help of to understand the roles that is defined by Oracle, the seeded roles, the seeded duty roles under it, the privileges that are assigned to each of these roles. You can understand in depth. Okay, and again take the help of this whenever you are sitting to create a custom role. Okay. All right. So enterprise structure, this is something that we will start, and again, a very key element or key concept to understand what enterprise structure is all about. Okay, so this is something which I will take a little bit of time to cover this topic, because this is the base. This is the backbone based on which the entire understanding of your Oracle ERP things would depend on. Oracle ERP, specifically from an ERP standpoint of view and from implementation standpoint of view, this is key to understand. And based on this, the entire structurization happens. Okay, so we will understand this tomorrow in our tomorrow's session, all the basics of it and all the particulars related to it. Okay. Yes, this is recorded video, and it will be accessible to you once your enrollments are confirmed. That is today, I believe you will be confirming your enrollments, and the payments, whatever it is, Kumar might have mentioned it to you. Just clear it out, whatever the installment or whatever it is. Okay, and then you will be given the access to the recordings as well as to the instance, the practice instance. Okay, so from tomorrow, only people who have enrolled will be provided the entry into the session. Okay. All right. Don't leave. 1 second. Don't leave the session. We just need to cross verify. Suhasini is there. Suhasini, can you share your number in my chat? Directly message me. Similarly, we have Saravana. Saravana, if you are interested in continuing, please give your details, mention your details in the chat, directly message to me. Other than that, I believe every other people, the contacts are available with Kumar. Abhishek and Avishek, it's both your ID, or are you two different people?
No, two different people. I am Abhishek Khanna, which is in small letters.
Okay. So you have shared your details already with Kumar, right?
Yeah, I have shared and I have paid also. So
Okay.
I am
Yeah.
expecting the access to be given.
Sure. He will provide.
Yeah.
In a day or two maximum, he will provide.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Abhishek, Avishek.
Okay.
So I'll be
mhm.
separately given a joining link
Yes.
from tomorrow.
Yeah,
Okay.
and if at all there is a change, then definitely you will be given. But then if there is no change, only those participants who have confirmed, I will be allowing to enter in the session.
Got it.
Okay. What about Abhishek? Abhishek, are your details provided to Kumar?
I need to check. As of now, I have not provided it.
Okay. Can you provide it to me so that I can share with Kumar and then he can reach out?
Oh, sure.
Message to me on the Zoom chat.
On this number.
Yeah, on this chat message, chat is there, right? In this Google, in this Zoom link.
Oh, sure.
So just provide. Others, you may leave. If you don't have any questions to ask, you may leave.
So, Chandra, I have a couple of questions which will come here.
Yeah, please tell me.
Yeah. So, can we clone the user?
No, we cannot clone the user. Clone as in how you are, what is exactly your expectation?
Okay, let's take for this. There is a one user already. He is have the access to the GL as such. So let's say there is a some more users who has been coming. So I want to give the same privileges, same data access to the same what already have in the system.
See,
So
job
instead of
roles,
creating,
job roles can be provided. So job roles, there is something in HCM part. What they do is generally auto provisioning thing that we saw, right? So there is a list of job roles that they actually group together, and then they auto provision it to the user when they create the user ID and employees. At that point of time, they auto provision it. But then user as such copy all the things from one user to another user. I don't think that is a functionality that is available. Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
And so do we have any of the program or job to load all the users, or else let's take if it is
Yeah,
something
in
like you
HCM there is available. So that is generally part of HCM. So generally HCM are the people who start with the implementation, and they are the people who load all the employee records. So at that point of time itself, they actually create those employees as users as well, and they actually do it using some mass upload process.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, is it possible to see how many users are tagged to the particular role as such?
Yeah, there are reports available. Reports are there which can be run. So as part of the security administration, there are reports available, where which can be run, and all the list of roles that are assigned to a particular user or to a group of users, it can be searched out.
Okay. So yeah, well, coming to this scheduling process side, so I see that like there is a wait and the block. So as you mentioned, that block means there is a already there is a same process has been running in the backend. Someone has
Yeah,
been triggered it.
yeah.
Yeah. So what is the difference of the wait and the block here?
Wait is basically, the some other process, some child process would be running. Let's say, for example, then in that case, the master program will be put on wait. Wait means that will the status related to that particular program will only complete when all the child programs have completed. That is what wait is about. Okay, so there is already another child program under that particular main program that is running, because of which the status of the parent program will be set as wait. Blocked means altogether blocked. Why? Because there is a similar program already running. Okay, when there is a similar program already running, so just like the case of this retrieve LDAP. So retrieve LDAP is one program can run only at one point of time it can only run once. Okay, it cannot run twice. So that is where whatever is the second time when the program is being run, okay, then it will be the status of it will be set as blocked until the time the first program that was run is not completed. Okay, so
Okay.
some of the programs they cannot be run simultaneously multiple times. Some programs they can be run. So depending upon case to case, it happens.
So like some of the programs, like suppose invoice.
Yeah, invoice validation, or
Yeah,
let's say create
validation. So in
accounting.
that case, it will go to wait, right?
Yes, create accounting. Let's say, for example, so create
Right.
accounting, we might run it for the first program, we might run it for one set of ledgers. The second program, we might run it for the second set of ledgers. Okay,
Right.
so that way the program is same, but then the parameters under it is different. That is
Right.
why it can be run simultaneously. But on the other hand, if the parameters are also going to be the same, then that program will go into block.
Okay, then it will go to block. Okay, in that
Yes.
case, it will not go to wait. Okay.
Yeah, it will not complete. The
It
second
will
program will not complete.
it will go to wait if they are having different parameters only.
Exactly.
Okay.
So my point is, let's take the as you said for the block means it's the same user who logged in another machine and he's running it.
No matter user, same user or multiple user, it doesn't matter. So that is where I said some programs, whether it is run by multiple users and it is not supposed to be run multiple times, then in that case it will go into block, irrespective of who the user has run in that this particular environment.
Understand.
Yeah.
And then in coming days, I believe you will be covered in depth on this role topics and the data structure, correct?
Roles, it is complete. So whatever is about the roles we have completed, but yes, data security is a pending leg, because there are certain concepts related to it that we need to understand, and that will be covered as part of each of the application, because data security is all about each application, the data access that we get in each application. So that is where that particular point we will be understanding as and when we complete each of the configuration related to each of the application. At that point of time, I will highlight, okay, this is the data security component that we were talking about during the security administration session.
Okay. So the one last question, sorry. Yeah.
Hmm.
See, let's take there is a X page where this particular user have the access. Okay, and there is a one more Y page where the user don't have the access. When doing some transactions and you are redirecting to the Y page, so will it the system block him or else how it works? For example, let's take on the journal side. So when you're accessing to the journal accounts and it has been redirecting to the account payables module, okay, it's just the same transaction. So that time will this data structure will be, I mean, as it, how this, is it allow him or else it will be blocked?
I mean, I am not sure if I understand your question correctly. Uh, so can you repeat your question again? The example that you gave.
Yeah. So let's say there is an X page where the person have the access. Okay. And there is a same role that has been not added. And when you're doing some transactions and the transaction is leading to the Y page where he don't have the access for it. So that time how it will be work?
See, the accesses and all are actually segregated. So, in the application access you go, so in GL, when you go to the GL workbench or work area, only the GL related tasks you will be able to perform. Okay. At that point of time, in the same page, you cannot perform any task for any other application. Okay, so that is how the roles actually segregate the pages and everything. The page related accesses actually it segregates based on the roles that have been assigned to you. And even at one page, you cannot access multiple tasks at one point of time, or multiple application tasks within one page you cannot access. So that is where the tasks are segregated.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, things will be a bit more clear at this point of time. Things might be a bit hazy to understand from how things would look like or how the accesses would look like, which will be clear to you as and when we progress in the coming sessions. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right. Any other questions?
Not
Okay.
from me, sir.
All right. If no more questions, then we can wrap up. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a
Thanks.
nice day.
Thanks. Bye.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm actually new to